Hey everyone, this is Scott, normally of the Dunleading Warcry. Today I'm hijacking the Middle-earth strategy battle game Discord YouTube, also known as Discord in the Ranks. And we're going to talk about our upcoming event for the TTS Valar League. This is a tabletop simulator league that runs throughout the year. We've done some recent upgrades in order to turn it into an actual league format with point scoring based on event sizes and whatnot. Um, in this case, our event that is coming up starting this Monday, the 16th, is the Council of Elrond event. So the general theme of our league is that it kind of flows through different events throughout the books. We focused on the books rather than the movies for this because it came with some good chapter names and all that. And then we also kind of happenstance to have had those be able to match to different formats of events. So our January event was just a standard event, and then it was an unexpected party or whatever, it's long expected party. I don't remember the name, but that was just a standard event trying to get some people in with the new year. Our second event was Get Off the Road, obviously themed around the Nazgul hunting down the hobbits as they're trying to get over to Bree. That was a good versus evil event. And then this upcoming one, the Council of Elrond, people coming together. We thought it would be a good time to do a teams event. And that cycle kind of repeats with some variation throughout the year as we move on. For a teams event, they've included it now in the new match play book for this edition. Teams sign up together. Their lists have to be unique between the army lists themselves and then also what your roster is. So you can't have two players playing Men of the West. You can't have a Men of the West and a Battle of Five Armies both with Legolas. So unique shares between them. You have to kind of branch out. And we saw a fair number of unique lists that have popped up with this event. Now, of course, naturally, a bunch did repeat. That's just what's going to happen within the context of this event. So some teams events do drafting for scenarios. It's a little difficult with Tabletop Simulator just because while we are all online, we have very different time zones. So accounting for that, essentially, we had a captain for each team, and that captain submitted what each player was going to play in each pool. So, for example, in pool one, you have domination, capture and control, breakthrough, and stake a claim. I put together a ringer team that was going to play the odd man out if we had that. And I'll go through those lists in a moment. But essentially, each of the players amongst that team selected which one. So one is on domination, one is on capture and control, one is breakthrough, one is stake a claim. And we repeated that across the different pools. We excluded pool 5 for this event, just in recognition of it's just going to be white hand versus white hand, or someone with Grima facing each other, ambushes. It's just Reconnoiter is a mess, unfortunately, this edition with those sort of auto win armies. So, in recognition of that, we tossed out Pool 5. We go back and forth throughout the year. Pool 5 gets a lot of heat, so sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out. We try and cycle it because there's not a good reason to always exclude it. But in a format like this, it was necessary. Kept the things a little bit more open. So we are playing through the rest of the other scenarios. There are 5 between pools 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. We had 9 teams sign up plus the ringer team. So that is 40 total players, really 36. The ringer team is meant to be a joke team because, of course, at the end of the day, after the first round, it's going to be playing bottom table. So going straight into the list at this point, I'm going to try and give basically a rundown of the list, who's playing it. I'm not going to go too deep into each player just because I don't know as many as I'd like. I mean, I basically know everyone that plays in it, but I don't know enough of a summary to really give everyone the same love that I'd like to give. So I'm going to keep it just straight to what they're playing, any notes on if they've done really well in the past, that sort of thing. So just to start, we're going to get the ringer armies out of the way. So I thought it'd be pretty funny. I wanted to present a ringer army that was going to be able to play the first round, hopefully. I don't think it's going to, based on the pool we rolled, which I'll get to in a moment. It's going to be a little tricky with them, but the hope is that I'm going to play the first round of them. And then after that, while we normally have a requirement of ringers being podium players just for consistency, so someone that's podiumed in our event before can come and play those lists, keep it at least at a respectable level. We're actually encouraging non-podium players to play for this one, just because I think it'd be pretty funny to introduce some chaos and all that. There's lists that could really be played mean, but we don't want it to be that way. It was more of a in the moment spur joke. So the Ringer army, as you can see here, is all dragons. So we've got the team name of Dragon D's Nuts Across Yo Chin. We have the team leader, which I forgot most of the team leaders, so I only recognize my own, is Smaug the Great and Terrible. So we have Smaug, we have Dragons of the North, Dragons of Moria, and then Wraiths on Wings. So Smaug, I'm not going to click in. We know what Smaug does. Smaug is playing across the pools, Breakthrough, Contest of Champions, Hold Ground, Retrieval, and Lead from the Front. Next up, we have Dragons of the North. So we have the leader who has Fire and Fly. We have Fly, and then we have Worm Magic. And they're going to be playing Domination, Assassination, Sights of Power, Seize the Prizes, and Clash by Moonlight. Next up, we have the Dragons of Moria list, which is the leader just has Worm Magic. I think it's supposed to be that way. I'm going to click it open because I think I might have messed it up. We'll see. I didn't focus too much on which had which. Oh no, the leader does just have Worm Magic. So the leader has Worm Magic, then we have one with Worm Magic and Fly, and then one with Worm Magic. Oh yeah, I did that on purpose. The idea was that the leader wants to kind of hang back, so give it Fly to another one, have him go forward. And that team is going to be playing Capture, Control, To the Death, Heirlooms, Treasure Hoard, and Convergence. So they're focusing in on the objects and their magic to manipulate sort of deal. Wraiths on Wings, pretty clear cut. It's Witch King, 3 Ring Wraiths. Everyone's upgraded for Armored Fell Beasts. Everyone's got a Morgul Blade. They're going to be playing Stake a Claim, Lords of Battle, Command the Battlefield, Destroy the Supplies, and Fog of War. So they're kind of going for scenarios where they can just kind of be off on their own, take advantage of splitting up people, and try and get some kills that way. So there was the thought of competitiveness for the Ringer armies was put them in the best scenarios possible. It kind of worked out for most of them that it wasn't really a competition. I kind of geared Dragons of the North one way, Moria for the other way in order to cover the different scenarios. And Smaug is just such a presence in certain scenarios. So I think they can perform well. If you were playing them at max capacity, they probably could do really well. But the whole thing is we don't want them to do that. We want them to mess around. But going into our first real team, we have Darth. He's one of our generally relatively new players, but he's performed really well over the last 6-ish months or so, usually with his host, the Dragon Emperor. So he's rocking the Dragon Emperor, Rutabi, and Burger. And then from there, it's pretty normal looking build, nothing special. He does have the one bow, of course. But beyond that, it's 40 models. He's shooting to be playing Stake a Claim. Good army to have for that with the Cataphract. You get there really fast. The Cataphract drum. Contest of Champions. The Emperor is a solid presence. Hold Ground. Again, get to the middle with the drum. Seize the Prizes. Again, get really fast. Lead from the front. Get there really fast. So Easterlings, we know with the drum, are very mobile, running 9 inches every single turn. No cost to do so. They're going to get where they're going to get. And these are scenarios beyond contest, which is the Emperor's call. The rest are ones that really benefit from that. So moving on to Lizzo the Accuser, Kingdom of Khazad-dûm. They are bringing Dwarf King, Champion Group, and a couple captains. And they have a whole bunch of Iron Guard, I can see already. I'm crying with my hobos. So a bunch of bows, bunch of Iron Guard, pretty standard looking build. I know some are mixed on King's Champion Group, and then, of course, whether you take Dern or not. But it's got a solid numbers, 45 at 800, no joke. And for those scenarios, they're going to be looking for Breakthrough, solid up on the line battle force. You're probably not breaking through them. Assassination, Dwarf Captains are very tough to kill. They're basically going to have to go after a Shield Bearer, or not Shield Bearer, Herald, which could be very difficult. Sights of Power, with all the shooting and the throwing, solid Maelstrom to get that nighttime. Assassination has that too. Treasure Hoard, little harder one for them, but if they get going, they can get their 3 pretty solidly and then try and push forward. And they're usually pretty good about sending models to the other side of the board over the course of the game. And then lastly, Clash by Moonlight, again, nighttime. So they're really looking to max that nighttime damage. Next up is Nuclear Tyrant running Rivendell. Elrond, Arwen, Lindir, pretty standard combo. They're very good together. It's 40 models, which is a respectable amount. It's got the few knights going on, but beyond that, shields, shield and spears, and then he doesn't really have any bows. I actually just noticed that. So it's very melee heavy. So this could have some difficulty beyond the knights, of course. Some difficulty maybe forcing people to come in. But it's got solid presence once it makes the enemy between the double wrath and Lindir giving out resistant to help on the approach, along with free will for Elrond to keep going. And he's looking to be playing Capture and Control, strong one for Rivendell. Lords of Battle, again, another strong one for Rivendell with that Fight 5 battle line. Command the Battlefield, so holding separate. Rivendell's pretty decent at that with the high courage elves. Retrieval, and then Convergence. So I do think these scenarios are pretty good for it. A lot of armies might have trouble in Lords of Battle with it. Command the Battlefield, it can spread out very well. Retrieval, it has mobility in Arwen, the Knights, and even Elrond if needed to really just barrel through and grab that object. And then Convergence, similarly, it has mobility to go grab those objects and then get them safe. Lastly, we have Runebelly on his ever ongoing quest to play Dale into Dragons, which he might get, who knows. He's rocking a pretty standard Dale for what we typically see. Usually we don't have heavy Windlance use on TTS. People typically take 1 or 2, occasionally 3, but he's dialed in on the 1. So he's got Girion, and then from there, max bows, basically. He does have a couple knights, but beyond that, double banner always. As many bows as you can get, and that's Dale. So 55 at 800 is a solid amount. He's playing Domination, strong one, have that 50% board coverage for the +1, plus, of course, the Windlance. To the death, again, Windlance, all those bows and double banner, a lot of armies might be coming to you. Heirlooms, starting on the table, get to the heirlooms quicker because you have the siege weapon. Destroy the supplies, very similar to the death. The opponent's going to have to come to you. Otherwise, you hopefully might have a banner advantage and they're going to have problems. And then lastly, Fog of War. It's a pretty solid army for that. It's very hard to get to any heroes, let alone wound them. So it's solid to just tell people you're going to die coming from me. Moving on to the next team, we have the Green Parsers. We forced Flubber into joining with our Spaniard trio of Montana, Piotes, and Solda. They were looking for a 4th, so we all just started spam tagging Flubber to join them. So he's stuck with them now, or rather, they're stuck with him. Flubber has decided to go back to his roots and bring a Watcher and not bring the Balrog, even though he keeps saying that he's going to bring the Balrog or not bring the Balrog. He switches about every day. He is rocking Druzog, Groblog, a Cave Drake, the Watcher, and a Goblin Captain. So he's looking for that Druzog and Rage play along with the Watcher to mess with things, and then a couple Bat Swarms to really bring in the power dealing against higher fight heroes. He is playing Domination, which is a strong one for the model count, 46, and the Cave Drake especially. It wants to get in melee. Contest of Champions. The Watcher's pretty cracked in it. I mean, he gets to start on the board because of the recent FAQ. It overrides, so the scenario overrides normal deployment for them. So it's starting on the board. It just picks up the champion, puts it on the other side. Cave Drake goes in, kills it. It's a very powerful combo. And I will hear no criticism about giving it away because most people don't think about it, and I want people to know about it. That's one that you don't want to get burned on that. Sites of Power, solid one for the Watcher. Nighttime, those +1 to wound tentacles. Oh my god. And then Retrieval, the Watcher could just pop up on the other side and say, this is my objective. So you have to really guard it, which makes it difficult with the Cave Drake bearing down on you. And then lastly, Clash by Moonlight, really solid army to get that +1 to wound again on the Watcher, and then just get to the middle and hold it pretty well with the Cave Drake. Then on to Montana, 5 armies. we have the pretty typical combo of Legolas, Gwahir, Nori, and the Lake Town Captain. Not much to say about it. This is one of the most solid ways you could build this list. It's 43 at 800. He is bringing that to Stake a Claim. Gwahir's got good mobility to get there really quickly, and then a militia captain to march forward so you can cover the middle. Assassination, those elf bows and Legolas do a lot of work. Heirloom, Gwahir, fast, very fast. Sees the prizes again. It's got that burst mobility to get places in order to try and dig up stuff on the first turn with Gwahir. And then Fog of War, that's a tough nut to crack when you have to pick between basically Lake Town Captain or nothing, because you're probably in any average game, Legolas, Gwahir, and Nori, they're tough to crack, and you're basically gonna have to go for the Lake Town Captain or Gwahir and hope that he whiffs. So it's a hard scenario to try and get points off them for. And then we have Piotes running Men of the West. Pretty standard combo we've been seeing a whole bunch in various places. Aragorn, Gandalf, and then just a bunch of tin cans. He's bringing it for Capture Control, Lords of Battle, Hold Ground, Treasure Hoard, Lead from the Front. It's not much to be said about Men of the West because everyone kind of knows Men of the West does pretty dang good into basically any scenario. So it's just looking to do its thing. And then we have Solda running Rivendell. Another Elrond, Arwen, Lindir combo. Pretty similar to the other build, also at 40 models. This one, however, does have maxed bows. It has a lot of bows. There are 12 elf bows plus the 3 knights. It's going to be able to bring some ranged power. And then that army is going into Breakthrough, To the Death, Command the Battlefield, Destroy the Supplies, and Convergence. Next up, we have Guessman, Alex, on Stucky's Stooges, bringing the Serpent Horde, Sulanan Betrayer combo. A lot of Haradrim with bows. At 50 models, he's got, what is this, 9, 13, 19, 23 Haradrim Warriors with bow. That's going to do a lot of range power, let alone the melee of having all those poison weapons once you get there. Or do they have melee poison in this one? I don't think so. They do. That's Harad. But still, it's a pretty solid combo. It's actually got another bow with the Harad Chief. It's going to do a lot of range damage, especially because it's taken the scenarios where it benefits most of that. You've got Capture and Control, which is a good one just to have the bodies and block up the objectives. To the Death, Distance and Shooting. Sights of Power, Nighttime, Strong, Destroy the Supplies, again, Distance and Shooting. And then Clash by Moonlight, Darkness of Night. It's gonna do some damage. Next up, we have Night Owl running Moria, and he's bringing double dragons. So we're seeing pretty much the FAQ don't mean, or the errata don't mean much to me. We have a Breathe Fire, we have a Breathe Fire and Fly, and then a Black Shield Captain. I really like Black Shield Captains. I actually think that they're way better than regular ones, even for the 5 points I think you pay. They're very good. 44 models at 800 is no joke either when you have the 2 dragons, even if Breathe Fire does nothing. If they get in, they can do a lot of work. He's going on to Breakthrough, Contest of Champions, Heirloom, Treasure Hoard, and Lead from the Front. So good scenarios for the dragons to have a lot of presence, holding the line, breaking through the line, killing things for contest, running up with their pretty decent intelligence for objects, and then being heroes of valor for Lead from the Front is solid. Next, we have Luke running Rivendell, and he is bringing a heavier hero one between Elrond, Glorfindel, and then also Lindir to back him up. Standard maxed elf bows, and then a few knights on top of that, or a couple knights. Looking for Glorfindel to Elrond and just go to town. To that effect, he is playing in Domination, which he's got decent coverage that he can hang back with his elf bows and hold 2 objectives. He's also playing Lords of Battle. 34 models, it'll be hard for a lot of armies to get more wounds than it. Even if you guys go even, it just doesn't have enough wounds to take. Hold Ground. Elrond and Lindir getting to the middle would be pretty powerful, just tossing out a Wrath every turn. Retrieval for Glorfindel to just kind of shoot the gap, try and grab that objective, and then if he gets it, it's probably game. And then lastly, Fog of War. Similar to other lists, having to pick Lindir for that is just not great. You can't pick Asveloth per our rules, even as a target. We're not allowing it. It seems like that's what they intended when they said you can't pick it for defend. You probably can't pick it for anything. It's a hero in name only for the most part, and for usurpers +1. And then I'll die on that hill. And then lastly for Stooges is Army of the White Hand under Sharby, running the pretty standard one that a lot of people are seeing. Ton of birds. Gorolf and the Oathmaker kind of just hang out, try and outlast everybody. He does bring as many bows as he can. There are a fair amount of Uruk-hai here, which everyone knows I hate. But he does have some hobos, so I can approve it. Stamp of approval. I have been seeing more Dunlending Horsemen. I really think Dunlending Horsemen are really good in White Hand. I think having that Fearless that they lacked last edition, having those reroll of ones, they are very, very consistent. And then for his White Hand, he's playing Stake of Claim. No surprise, Grima. Assassination. A lot of bows can do a lot of work in the darkness of night. And then looking to swarm someone with birds. Command the battlefield. It's got a lot of presence, just kind of hanging out in different parts. The birds can go just spread out and take corners. Seize the prize. Seize the prizes rather. Runs up really fast. With the birds, blocks the objectives, gives time for everyone else to get up there. The horsemen can do dismount shenanigans to grab stuff. And then convergence, pretty powerful mobility again to block things up while you go grab the objectives and then get them to the middle. The next team we're going to look at is Men, Dwarves, and Birds. I'm interested to see which one has been doubled up. We have, or I guess it's men looking at it. So we have Anardo running Minas Tirith, Denethor, Baza, Ingold, and Captain of Minas Tirith. So no Faramir here, but just looking for a lot of bodies. So 44 models is pretty solid when you're also paying for Boromir. No banner in this list because he can't take it here, but he's still a fight 7 hero with 6 might. So it's got a pretty solid amount of troops. It's got Ingold to hold the middle. It's got a captain for March. It's pretty solid. And then looking at what it's playing, it's going for capture and control, battle line army where it's going to be up in your face from the get-go. To the death, I do think it only has 1 banner, so that might be a tougher one. But if it gets where it wants to get, it can pick off stuff. Heirloom of Ages, or wrong one, sorry. Command the battlefield. It can hold out pretty well across the table. Boromir can hold 1 part, Denethor another, and then play for the 3rd with Knights. Treasure Hoard. Its guys aren't too dumb between Boromir and I believe Denethor is pretty damn good at intelligence. And then I think Ingold is okay too. So it can get up there with its Captain of Minas Tirith marching. And then lead from the front. It has 2 Valors, which is strong. I do think people underestimate when it comes to lead from the front. Having more than 1 above Fortitude hero is a very powerful tool towards dictating the pace of the game, because a lot of armies are just 1 Valor or Legend and then the rest Fortitude. So having that pressure for different parts is great. Next up, we have Blitz Murica. He is running Men of the West, and he's bringing Aragorn, Legolas, Gwaihir, standard combo, and going for Stake of Claim, Contest of Champions, Hold Ground, Seize the Prizes, and Fog of War. Again, when it comes to Men of the West, there's basically no wrong answers, so it approaches everything pretty well. Then we have Roiron running Kingdom of Khazad-dûm. It's going for 2 kings and Marden. Interesting choice on Marden, but it has a lot of Iron Guard. At 13, it's looking like. And then, of course, all the Dwarf Ranger bows to back it up. He is playing into Domination, looking for that early fighting and holding the back objectives easier. Lords of Battle, tough to crack through all the dwarves. It's a lower defense type dwarf army, but it's still got a lot of d6. It's got a lot of dice. Sides of Power, nighttime, no surprise. Retrieval, it's not going to give up ground, and then it hopes to make that play, of course. And Clash by Moonlight, nighttime. Pretty clear on choices there. And then lastly, we have Mithras running Army of the White Hand. Again, this is Saruman Gorolf Oathmaker, but then also a chief. Less Krebine, only at 4. My kind of list. I don't think you need more than a few. I think people are really overestimating them, and I look forward to proving it at Adepticon when I go next couple weeks. But he is shooting for breakthrough, assassination, heirlooms, destroy the supplies, and convergence. So in this situation, just looking for the cheese on destroy the supplies with Grima. Beyond that, it's just bodies getting where they need to go and looking to take off those objectives. Then moving on to the collection of the usual suspects. So Baz, one of our moderators here in the server, and recently moved to Maryland. He is bringing his Garrison of Dale under the Why Didn't We Take Saruman team. Again, it's pretty similar to Varun Bellies. He plays one Windlance. That's his way. He's looking for domination to the death, heirloom, retrieval, and clash by moonlight. It's interesting on the retrieval aspect. I wouldn't expect that one. It seems like a bit of a wild card there. But of course, it does have a big deployment zone, so there is that. It's going to be a little weird with the Windlance. It's all my thinking. But beyond that, it's got its heavy shooting power. It's got melee coverage for domination and retrieval. And then heirloom, of course, starting on the board, getting that leg up on running to the objective. Then we have Dairyman Richard from Into the West, bringing Men of the West. It's just degenerate hour with these Men of the Wests. He's bringing Aragorn, Legolas, Gwyer, running Breakthrough, Assassination, Hold Ground, Treasure Hoard, and Lead from the Front. Again, pretty clear cut of why he does like the Warriors of Rohan with bow, just to bump up the models a couple. Because other than that, I think you get 30, 34, I think it is. It's a small increase, but it's a decent one. Then we have Rob. He doesn't have a podcast, but he's up in Washington area. He's running Fields of Celebrant. He loves the list, as he named it, a Defticon variant. I love this long string name. He is, I believe, bringing it to. I don't remember what he's bringing to Adepticon. He might be. He is rocking Aerol and the Suns, Rider Ryan with Banner, King of Men, and then a bunch of dudes. It's a solid list. We've been seeing it more and more. I think everywhere's been seeing it more and more. Calibrant's a very strong list. The Suns are really good. It's a Rohan list that's not as reliant on charging because the Suns are getting 2 attacks no matter what. Getting that 3rd attack on the charge is just nice when you already have 2 always. So it doesn't just lose if you lose the move off. But it's got decent play to get the move off with Aerol's Might Shenanigans. He is bringing that over to Stake of Claim, Lords of Battle, Sights of Power, Destroy the Supplies, and Convergence. So he's got the mobility for these plays. He has a lower wound count for Lords of Battle, which is really, really useful there. And then he can play for Convergence objectives well. His guys, I believe, are all expert riders, so he can go pick those up. Lastly, we have the fresh Nuve. That's Ian from Into the West, bringing Last Alliance. He's going for Elendil, Elrond, and a Rivendell captain. He went for the Elrond version rather than Eristor, going for higher damage capacity. It hurts your numbers a little bit. But beyond that, it's a pretty standard looking one. He doesn't have that many bows, but I think this style of Last Alliance is never really going to outshoot anyone anyway. So just having a few, which goes against his greater motto of max the bows. So I'm gonna rib on him for that. He's got a bunch of elves, so he's been looking for those whirl plays. RNG takes some of the guys out while Elendil and Elrond go to town. Elrond can protect Elendil from some of the threats he faces, like big mounted heroes that come into him at a bad time. So that is useful to have. And then, of course, captain to get them where they're going. He's looking at capture and control, which is a good one. You're less reliant on camping the objectives if you hold them well. And even if you need to later, your guys aren't running away very easily. Contest of Champions. Elendil Elrond's a pretty powerful combo for that. Command the battlefield. Again, he's got an army that can spread out really wide with the courage buff of rerolling ones. Seize the prizes. The captain can run forward. He's got really high intelligence stats, so he's likely digging up if he gets there. And then Fog of War, I would dread having to pick between Elrond and a Rivendell captain with shield. D7 models, fight 6 and 7, the support of each other. It's not something I want to have to deal with. Moving on to Bleg. The combination, of course, it changed the order of it. It's the combination of their first letters. We have Badger, who runs the North American Ontario-centric TTS events that have been popping up. He is rocking Host of the Dragon Emperor, Rutabi, and Burger. He is running the pretty standard version of it. He's got the Cataphract over with Rutabi, which could be a risk in Maelstrom, I would say. But other than that, it's about what you'd expect. He is shooting for Capture and Control, Lords of Battle, Hold Ground, Treasure Hoard, and Fog of War. Similar to the other Dragon Emperors, you got mobility to get where you need to go when it comes to Hold Ground, Treasure Hoard, and Fog of War. Lords of Battle, if someone tries to shoot you off the table, you can go and run up to them really fast without paying for anything. And then Capture and Control, starting up on the line, being able to just go to town on things. Then we have Elfie. He is running Men of the West, but he's being a Chad and not bringing either Gandalf or Gwaihir. But he still has Legolas, so disappointing. But he is shooting for, he's got a good amount of Rohan with 5 shield and throwing spears. But he has 41 models, which is a lot of models. And he is shooting for Breakthrough, To the Death, Command the Battlefield, Destroy the Supplies, and Convergence. Kind of all well-round scenarios. It lets the other armies in the list kind of dial into theirs because, again, none of those kind of go into anything. Then we're looking at Go With the Flow, running Ratty's Alliance. Pretty clear cut. Ratty on his Eagle, Gwaihir, 2 fledglings, 1 great. Make a note that the Great Eagle on Ratty is a Great Eagle. So Gwaihir doesn't count towards the fledgling count, but the regular one and Ratty's do. So that's why you could do 2 and 2. And he is looking for Stake of Claim. He's got that mobility. Contest. He's got no wounds to give up, no kills to give up, which is very, very powerful. Heirloom, high mobility to get to the objects. Seize the prizes, high mobility. Lead from the front. Good heroic tiers with triple valor. Can really hold down all 3 very well. And then lastly, Loki Meister running Riders of Theoden. It is a lot of Riders of Rohan. That's going to be a lot of bow shots. It's got Theoden, Aimer, and Gamling, so it's looking more on a list well around than a Hero Hammer, like a lot. Run it. So he's at 31 models, and that's, let's see, 22, 23, 23, 24 bows, 1 throwing, 5 throwing spears. It's got a lot of ranged power. It's looking for that early skirmishing and then going in when it needed and when it's needed. Similar to a lot of the shooting lists, going for domination. He's got the range to spread out and hold different spots and fight for the other side. Assassination, nighttime, having to go for gambling, hard task. Sights of power, nighttime. Retrieval, high mobility, army, looking to make that play for the other side. Very possible with Aemyr's 12 inches. Similar to Glorfindel, if he gets there and gets that object, he's out of there. And then lastly, Clash by Moonlight. Again, heavy bows. You have a lot of range power. Then on to Mr. Jin Jam Box. We have Ginger running Kingdom of Khazad-dûm. 55 models is a lot of dwarves. And then that's that King Champ double captain build. And then it's got no Iron Guard, so it's just looking to max bodies. It's got as many throwing weapons as it can get, it looks like, and as many longbows as it can get. It's just looking for bodies. And it's looking for domination, high bodies, hold objectives. To the Death, it does have the double banner. Sights of Power, nighttime, of course. Destroy the Supplies, it's got the double banner. And then Clash by Moonlight, nighttime. So again, pretty clear-cut reasons why you'd pick that. We have Jam, the degenerate, running 25 Krebine. I swear. It's Saruman, Grima the Oathmaker, and then a ton of Krebine and a couple horses. Oh my god, man, give me a break. Jam is running them in Stake of Claim, assassination, hold ground, seize the prizes, and convergence. All the usual shenanigans going on here. I'm surprised no destroy the supplies with Grima. But seize the prizes. I mean, you can screen with the birds and get things up to pick stuff up. Although it's difficult, you're gonna have to dismount horsemen realistically. Jam has performed pretty reasonably well. I think podiuming a couple times now. I haven't looked too closely with the heavy bird variant. And she's just running a ton of birds, looking for weight of bodies. This is a good match or good event to do that in because you're not risking Lords of Battle ever. You get to really tailor it, so it helps even more than usual. Then on to large box, the box portion of the name. Running Rivendell, we've got Elrond, Glorfindel, and Bilbo. So different from the other Rivendels. It's got a decent amount of bodies at 35, considering that you're paying so much for Elrond, Glorfindel, and Bilbo. And then from there, it's got a bunch of elves. It doesn't look like he's got any bows, so it's a melee heavy but double banner list. It's looking for consistency plays. And then looking at the scenarios he's got, no surprise. He's got breakthrough, start up on the line, contest of champions, start up on the line, command the battlefield, decent ability to spread out and play for objectives with Glorfindel. Bilbo can go hide and take a corner. Retrieval, basically start up on the line, and then Fog of War. Again, having to pick between Glorfindel and Bilbo is a terrible choice to be making. Either the thing you can't see or the Elf Lord who has killed a Balrog. So, not great choices to play against. And then lastly, we have Mr. Mac running Radagast Alliance. Same as the other build. This is the only way you can build it at this point level, I think. I suppose you could shenanigans more Great Eagles, but that is looking for capture and control, Lords of Battle, Heirlooms, Treasure Hoard, and Lead from the Front. Again, Valors for Lead from the Front, Treasure Hoard mobility, Heirloom mobility, Lords of Battle. It doesn't have enough wounds to give up. And then capture and control, grab the objectives, mobility to go fly and tag others if you need to. Next up, we've got Slim Shadies, who needed to add emotes to their thing. And it actually translated to most programs as I was writing up all the different things. We have Istar running Assault on Lothlorien. Pretty generally standard looking one. Musgur, Druzag, a Wild Warg Chief, and then 2 Orc Captains. It's got a ton of Orc Bow Goblins, and then a bunch of Orc Spears, and then a fair few Prowlers. I see 5 in there, it looks like. And then it's got 2 Bat Swarms, 2 Spiders. It's got the Enrage play, it's got the bodies, bows, throwing. It's got a lot of range damage, and let's see quickly what he is playing them in. So he's going for Stake of Claim, which he does have the bats and the spiders to go run up really quickly to play for those middle ones while the goblins move up. To the death. Does he have double banner here? He does have double banner, so he can play for the banner points and force people in a little bit. Heirloom, he doesn't have the greatest mobility, so that could be a little hard for him. We've ruled, as many places have, you can't dig up with beasts. You can't check it with beasts. So he's got the Wild Warg Chieftain who can run around, but that's kind of it. Everyone else is going to have to really, really book it. And then Destroy the Supplies. Again, double banner and ranged presence, pretty strong there. And then Clash by Moonlight. Kind of throwing away the nighttime bonus there, just to I assume maybe it was something to do with the other armies in the team, but even then, it's got a lot of heroes. It can save them pretty well, and then it can make some plays for the middle, and of course double banner. Then on to Lunar running Men of the West, Aragorn, Gandalf, just bodies, 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 bodies. Up at 31. I guess I say bodies, but it's Aragorn, Gandalf, and just as many as it could take. Domination, contest, hold ground, seize the prizes, and Fog of War. Again, all scenarios that Men of the West do well in. Again, there's very few they don't. Host of the Dragon Emperor under Mercando. Another 40 model Host of the Dragon Emperor. I don't think there's many options you get to pick at this point level. He is going for capture and control, Lords of Battle, command the battlefield, treasure hoard, and convergence. So Easterlings, he's got a couple acolytes in there. That's a nice alternative. Does he have the 1 bow? He does not have the 1 bow, so he loses. So Mercando was in the most recent Dunlending Warcry battle report. if those of you that watch it and hear me drone on and make jokes for 2 hours. And then their last teammate, Sheriff the Very Late, who forgot to sign up, and then I had to do it manually, is running 5 armies. He went for Beaufort on a Brute instead of Nori. So he's still got the general combo, but then he's got the Brute. He's going for Breakthrough, Assassination, Sights of Power, Retrieval, and Lead from the Front. So he's got a couple nighttime to take advantage of Legolas and the bows. And then he's got Breakthrough and Retrieval, generally start up on the line. And then Lead from the Front, he does have 2 Valors, so it's pretty strong. And then Beaufort can pretty effectively screen an objective with the Brute. So it's a decent combo. It's a little low on model count, but you're not getting much higher anyway with any alternative. So that's them. And then our last team here, we've got Scunny running Host of the Dragon Emperor. It's only at 36 models this time. And it's got 3 Dragon Cult Acolytes. What's the difference here that brought it down that much? Oh, okay. So he brought a banner. So he paid for a banner, and I have a feeling I know why. Looking at these scenarios, Domination, he's got To the Death, so the double banner matters. Command the Battlefield, Treasure Hoard, and Lead from the Front. So he's got a little bit of banner protection for Lead from the Front. All pretty good scenarios given the Cataphract Drum. Get where you need to go. Then on to Desmond, who is running Lothlorien. And I believe it's Lord of Lothlorien is the name of this list. Celeborn, Rumil, Orphan, and a captain. So ditching Galadriel, but looking for hero presence, and then also still hitting 40 bodies. It does not have that many bows from what I'm seeing. It just looks like the 4 Lothlorien warriors and the Wood Elf Sentinel. So it's a much more melee heavy list. It's looking for that +1 from Celeborn. I believe it's got just the 1 banner there. But if it gets close to you, it's going to start mincing you. And to that effect, so he's got Stake of Claim, which you can play on with the captain. He's got Lords of Battle, Elves and Lords of Battle, pretty powerful, especially all of this D6 elves. Hold Ground, get to the middle. Celeborn's aura is pretty effective. Sees the prizes, very intelligent guys. He's got Galadrim, the Galadrim captain, to run him up quick. And then Fog of War, similar to others. Having to pick between Rumil, Orphan, and a Galadrim captain is not a pretty proposition. It's going to be hard to get any of them. Then on to Scooper, running Riders of Aemir. He has opted to bring Gandalf, so it's a lower model count version, but it's got all the Riders of Rohan bows. It's got a few throwing spears, or max throwing spears, actually. It looks like it's got 8. Nothing on Aemir, though. But beyond that, he is playing Breakthrough, Contest, Heirloom, Retrieval, and Convergence. So the latter 3 are really favor high mobility. Breakthrough even, high mobility. Contest, having Gandalf to sub in is pretty effective if he wanted it, though I suspect he probably just goes to the heroic combats with Aemir for consistency. And then our last, another late arrival, Tall the Late, who forgot to send in his list, but his list wasn't changing. He is playing Ugluk Scouts. It's a little tough at 800 points, but it is 64 bodies, and he's got all those Uruk-hai bows. He is at, I think it's 20 Uruk-hai bows here. And then he does have the double Uruk-hai Scout banner. So he is going for Capture and Control. Start up on the line with Animosity is pretty good. Assassination for nighttime. Sights of Power nighttime. Destroy the Supplies, double banner, and mobility with the faster scouts. And then Clash by Moonlight nighttime. So going through all these lists, I know it's a lot of information just kind of getting thrown out. There'll be some links to the event page that also, and then also an analysis spreadsheet that has all of these scenarios and whatnot on there. You can see how it is in some ways tailored in some matchups or some scenario picks. They're looking to play specific ones, but of course there are still armies that can generally take all. And then also a lot of people just want to play what they want to play. I mean, there are some armies that, while you can tailor them to certain scenarios, they're not that far-fetched from what I see these people normally playing. So a lot of them are still playing the exact same lists. Darth is a Host of the Dragon Emperor player. Lizzo, I think, is a Kingdom of Khazad-dûm player. Nuclear, I've seen Rivendell. Varun is Garrison of Dale. Flubber is Moria. And then the Australians are nutcases. And then also Roran, he's Kingdom of Khazad-dûm. Mithras plays White Hand. Baz is Garrison Dalian. All these guys are playing their generally main armies. I don't know why Ian's playing Last Alliance. I don't think he plays Last Alliance very often. It doesn't max the bows typically, which is just against his nature. I think Badger's been getting into the host of the Dragon Emperor recently. Um, who else? Jam is a nutcase with his White Hand. Large Box likes Rivendell. I think Mr. Max played Ratty's Alliance before. Istar plays Assault on Lothlorien. Lunar has been playing a lot of Men of the West. Mercando does play Host the Dragon Emperor. Sheriff always plays 5 armies. I don't know all the rest. Ugluk, Tall plays Ugluk. So you see, like, they've matched up, but they're still playing armies that they want to play. So they've tailored these scenarios to their armies, but they haven't necessarily tailored their armies to the scenarios, which is really cool. I mean, the way that these are built is generally, I mean, when you're looking at the scenarios after, you see the list first, and then you say, oh, now I see why they picked that scenario, not kind of vice versa. It's not like some of these are one banner armies that decided to take 2 out of weirdness just to play something. One question Baz had asked me is, you think we're going to see any triple banners in any of these banner ones, and just someone just playing for banner points? I'm like, I don't think we're going to, and we didn't. I don't think that that's really the style that people even want to play in this type of deal. Now, I will say TTS tends to bring out some of the more competitive people playing efficient lists. They don't have to deal with real world finding out what models they have. I do know a lot of these players do actually play with these armies in person too, because that's generally what you want to do for events, especially with our new league format. The events count. They mean something more than just one-offs. So people want to play with what they like to play. But looking just into some stats on top of everything, so we've got some model counts and everything, and just some analysis on whether they're monsters or casters and whatnot. So here is a real interesting set of stats. So model count wise, the highest is 64. That's the Ugluk Scouts. It's only held down by me not playing in it. Otherwise, I'd have usurpers. The average count is actually sitting at 36.5. Which is lower than I'd expect for 800 points. I think a lot of people played lower count, especially when you know Lords of Battles on the table or even contests on the table. Tailoring to be a little lower is that you might see impact stuff. But in the low count is 1 with the Smog list. The low count outside that would have been 6. Good versus Evil. Good has a hold. It's got 60%, 3 out of 5. I think most teams are about 2 and 2. Some are 3 and 1. I don't really think any are just like fully evil or good, besides the Ringerlit one. Just glancing at it, it looks like a lot. At most are 3 and 1. Let's see. This would be a good stat to actually have if anyone did all good or all evil. I probably have shifted off a little bit, but it doesn't look like any team is all good or all evil, which is really cool. Monster wise, there are not many monsters. So we've got 30% with monsters. That's only 12 out of 40. That's pretty decently low considering that forward lists are the ringer list. Most people did not take monsters. Caster, though, is woo. So I think there's been some recent questions that people would have. Is casting really like as powerful as it used to be? And I mean, you could see it here. You got 65% of the list have magic. Even if you take out the ringer list that all have magic, 22 out of 36. That's a lot. Most people are running magic. And that's even with knowing the scenario that you're going to be playing. People still opted for it, even though it's not necessarily the most effective in some of them. Sometimes bodies are better. It's still shown up. In terms of lists that showed up more than once, there are a few. I do think it seems to be more that have more than one than not. So there's 28 that are repeated, 12 that are unique. Again, it's a little biased in that the ringer lists, no one has, or it's repeated just with more, I think. Men of the West showed up a lot, of course. Hosts showed up a lot. Rivendell showed up a lot. White Hand showed up a lot. Kingdom of Khazad-dûm, Moria. These are the groups that you'd expect to show up a lot. Most teams would have that just by chance. They're very popular lists. People want to play them. It's about what I'd expect. when you have to be unique across different armies and you group 4 people together, some are just naturally going to come up. But that's generally all the information regarding the event. It's going to be fun to see how this plays out. We've got 5 rounds ahead of us. I'm not going to go through the pairings for the first round, though I have them. They're going to be going live right as this video goes up so that our players can really get to it. They get a few extra hours. Normally, we run 1 game a week. And in this context, people might have to help out their opponents. We do allow filling if schedules aren't lining up in consideration of an online event. So you might have a buddy filling in for you. I know some of them are a little bit more hectic when it comes to events coming up on the weekends. Baz better not be playing all 4 games the week of Adepticon because 3 out of the 4 of them are going to be there. And I think it's going to be a real fun time because I'll be hanging out with them as well a little bit. But that is generally it for this. And I know it's a lot of information, a lot of stats and numbers. Feel free to read through the information posted in the description of the video. Go check out. I'm going to self shout out the Dungeoning Warcry, my channel, because I'll be coming out with another video as well today regarding some recent events that I went to. But we're going to be looking into posting some more videos about our TTS Valar League events in the future. Hopefully we could do something like this each time, and hopefully it's not just me droning on, bring on some of the other organizers. That way we can get a good read on everything. But for now, thank you all for watching. If you're playing in the event, good luck. Please don't ask me too many ruling questions. I'm tired, but I'll be there to answer them. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time.